Welcome everyone. Welcome to GluedTV, where we spotlight growing brands and also unpack their stories. Today we have HOR, House of Road. Sis Noni, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Can't complain.
Good.
Welcome to GluedTV.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Just before we start, can you briefly tell the viewers who is Sis Noni?
My names are actually Kiri Emetse Eleanor Noni Mpuang. So I have 5,000 million names, but I go by Noni or Nonini. I'm a fashion designer born and bred in Kimberley. So we have a brand called House of Road. And the brand makes garments for women, predominantly brides, matric dancers. We see people through all life events, even death. So we've had, funeral garments, we've got baptism, you've got literally, I always say, people will ask, what's your age group? I'm like, from as young as, 8 months to the oldest of the old.
All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, just before we go into House of Road, can you tell us your background, where you went to school, and
so
your process?
I went to my high school career ended with Kimberley Girls High, so I'm an old girl. And then after high school, which was 2009, I started studying at Cape Tech. So I studied fashion design. I did a national diploma for 3 years. And then after that, I didn't feel quite ready to enter to the job market yet. And I wanted just to upskill myself still while my parents were able to afford to pay for me. So I went to Joburg, where I did my BA in corporate communications with UJ. And then that was another 3 years. And then I got an opportunity to come and do my internship in communications in Kimberley. And I took the opportunity. Sometimes when you're done studying, you get thrown into all kinds of jobs. So I remember working for Isabella Garcia at one point, and it was a call center job. And I always feel like there are certain jobs that people are built for, and I wasn't built for that. So in the interim, I was also backup singing. So if you listen to Deep House and you know Zaki Ibrahim, I used to sing with Zaki Ibrahim for many years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I did background with her, but then things kind of died down, and I was like, let me take the opportunity to come back home. And when I got back, I did my internship at the Kimberley International Diamond and Jewelry Academy, working under Agnes Ndidisang. She was my senior manager, and it was good. The academy was fairly new, so I was heading their marketing, their comms, and it was an interesting direction to take because I always thought it would just be creative one way, So I thought, man, there's always that juxtaposition between choosing your corporate job over your creative and, feeling like there's more stability in corporate. And I thought, okay, maybe this is the route to go. But as life would have it, sometimes you don't get jobs after you finish your internship, and that was the case for me. So I was introduced, as you know, economic development has a lot of stakeholders. There's your CEDAs, there's your NEDA, your DTI, your NYDA. So I was always kind of exposed to those kinds of people. And then I was introduced to the chairperson of CEDA at the time, Ms. Kidisa Williams, and we just had a chat. So after that, I decided, let me try my hand at doing the fashion thing. But on top of that, I was approached by a neighbor whose daughter wanted a matric dance dress, and she's like, I am strapped for cash, and I would like you to make my daughter's dress because I heard you went to study fashion. And I think she had more belief in me than I had in myself at the time. But the thing with entrepreneurship, it just requires the courage to start. And I thought, this is it. Let's just do it. So I registered the business in 2016, August. And the rest is history.
The rest is history. That's why we are sitting here
That's why we are here today.
Just before we go to House of Road, in terms of your decision to go and study fashion design, was it a thing that you always had, or was it just a thing that you just stumbled on?
To be honest, I think coming out of primary school, as far as primary school, when I entered into my high school career, I thought, I was always such an introvert, and people notice how you look before they notice anything else. So I thought I could use fashion as a tool to kind of convey my personality and who I was. And, it's a language on its own. So I was determined to rearrange people's ideas of me, and I guess my ideas of myself through fashion. So I took a great interest in understanding that. And when I got to grade 10, my English teacher, Mrs. Matthews, reached out to the entire, I guess, class, talking about how the Cape Tech was rearranging and kind of restarting their informatics and design faculty. And I said, oh, that sounds interesting, because I would always be doodling and drawing and doing all these kinds of things. And I thought, maybe that's where I can go to kind of finesse my art and creative side. So when grade 11 stumbled around, I then submitted my portfolio, and I was already in good kind of communication with my lecturers before I even knew them, before I was even in matric. So I was speaking to Dalita and Yas and Brian and all these people that I'd never met, putting together a portfolio. So I don't think it stumbled upon me. I think I genuinely relied on fashion to do the talking for me. And it I guess it's poetic, because that's what we do for our clients. People will see our garments and say, I know that's a House of Rude garment. So we do the talking through our clothes, and that's how I got into fashion.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So you went to varsity, finished studying, went to Joburg. After Joburg, you came to Kimberley.
Yes.
That's where you started House of Rude.
That's where I started.
Take us through that process.
Oh my goodness. So after, I think, everything is such a blur around that time, because I did this by myself, and there was still a little bit of pushback coming from like an African family. People are more prone to push for you to go in the direction that is more stable. Our parents grew up teachers and doctors and lawyers and nurses, and it's stable, because you can rely on your pension, you can rely on the medical aid and the fundings from the government and all of that. But when I went into the arts, I think my parents just thought, she'll get over it, and because my mom would always also mention, you passed so well, you did so well, and I did my first dress for the neighbor, and it got such traction, and I thought, hey, I've got something here. I posted that on Facebook, and people were obsessed. They loved it. And then, one step at a time, like the clients just started coming, and it was trial and error all the way. I literally worked out of my parents', it was the forum houses, the RDP houses, the one room which used to be the room my grandparents slept in. And then when my grandfather sold the house to my dad, that room became a study. So I turned that room into my studio. Okay. So I did everything. I started seeing clients myself. I started doing the measurements myself. I started procuring fabric with clients myself. I started doing fittings myself. So start to finish, it was just me for the longest time. And it wasn't easy. It was late nights, early mornings. But I think the brand also gained popularity because apart from this shirt, we used to have t-shirts that just had Rude on it. And it's such a conversation starter. Just this morning I was printing documents and somebody said, why House of Rude? Why Rude? So it just that became this thing. People are still begging me to bring them back. They're coming back. But, like Rude just became like a monster on its own. And I started to do Rude Fridays as well. And people would send me pictures of them wearing, because at work it's casual, and they wear their Rude t-shirts, and it really just became this, more than just bartering. People really bought into, I think, me as well, because ultimately the brand is the person. So it's been an enjoyable journey.
All right.
Yes.
Now, in terms of, you started at your grandparents' place, informally. When did it start to be now a formal thing? Starting a business?
I registered off the bat, straight away. I had no, and I think, in hindsight, you will always think of things you could have done before better. I think maybe if I had operated informally first, then I could have learned a few things then, register, because now when you register, there's also these requirements. You have to start paying taxes, you need to do your books, you need to pay the yearly annual fee. Like, there's a lot of things that I learned along the way. But I was invited to Moromogolo this past Tuesday, and I just said, education and reading, just equipping yourself, because I know there are people that charge ridiculous amounts to register people's businesses now. And if you just read, the CIPC will tell you what you need to do. So I was registered from the get-go.
Okay.
But then obviously the challenges came when COVID hit, and things just took like a halt. But even in registering, there were certain systems I still hadn't put in place. So I think the pause was necessary, however painful, because I know many companies didn't survive COVID. I know many people themselves didn't survive COVID. But it was a necessary pause, because I was able to take a step back and then just reinforce my systems to be better the next time.
Now, with the introduction of COVID, how were you surviving as a business? How were you making income? Did you have any employees that you had paid salaries and all of that?
You must remember at that time it was just me, but I had an older lady, Osnanaisi, who was working for me, Dirani. And I would do the work, and then I would give her the rest, and then she would finish off, and then I'd bring my stuff back. So it was just me and her for a long time. And obviously, because fashion or clothing wasn't an essential business at the time, when COVID hit, systems shut down. Like, nothing was happening. People were literally just obviously going to work. There were no events. The day before the president announced the 21-day shutdown, Matric Dance, Girls Eye, or I think Northern Cape, was going to be the next day. Literally the next day. So it was done, like, breaks, everything cut off, nothing was happening. And I feel like I could feel myself slipping into a bit of a depressive state, which I think sometimes is what happens to creatives or entrepreneurs. There are moments of just self-doubt, and in a situation like that, we can't control it, But I came up with the idea. I looked at, like, okay, what's an essential thing that is still thriving? I started a food business. We have a business called Grabs and Gwenyas that I started with my cousin. So when I studied in Joburg, magwenya are a thing. You would see the ladies start their cars, come with their containers at 5 a.m. She's already there. She's selling, people are buying, corporate people are buying. By 10 o'clock, she packs up her container, she's gone. And I thought, we can do this. So we started a business called Grabs and Gwenyas. We had the logo, we had a brilliant menu. It was doing so well. But then food prices started to increase. When we started, a bag of potatoes was 52 Rand. When we ended, it was 100 Rand. And people aren't going to buy chips for exorbitant amounts of money. But we were able to procure a, gas fryer. Like, we did a lot in that time. And I think it just speaks to having an entrepreneurial spirit. When it's in you, it's in you. And that proved a lot to me. And I think that's why we're also looking at relaunching the business now, but smarter and better than we did before. So that's how I survived COVID.
All right. Yeah. Then post-COVID, as you can see, these are some of the comments that you do. Take us through in terms of when we spoke of Camera, you said you were going to introduce menswear too.
Yes.
Just take us through what you guys render, the services that you render at the House of Food.
So we render services of garment construction and designing. We do tailoring, we do alterations. There has been an outcry from the men about feeling like they're left out, I think when I brought in the t-shirts, it was because I wanted people to have access to the brand, because we're not all going to fancy events all the time, but you still want to have something that people can kind of cling onto and say, I also bought into your brand. So that's where the men thrived. But now we're doing a lot more in terms of providing pants and jackets and shirts, and especially if there's a bride that comes in and she's coming with her husband and maybe her sons, then we kind of still have, but that I'm still outsourcing. So it's something that I hope that we will be able to really be able to bring somebody in and work from the workshop with us.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's still to be introduced.
Still to be introduced.
Right.
It's here, but we just need our own people doing it.
Tell us also about your success story. We spoke a little bit when we were off camera in terms of your successes and stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit of your success stories from the time you started from 2016.
Yeah.
We've heard about your challenges.
Yes.
Any success stories?
Well, after I registered in 2016, I then was approached with an opportunity to go to Italy. And this opportunity was also brought to my lap by another designer, Fort Jocko, because they were looking for women specifically. He's a male, so he didn't fit the bill at that time, but he was able to speak to Masako Job, who was my business advisor at the time as well. And because I was new, nobody knew me, but I knew Lucky from a long time ago, so he put me on, and I was able to represent the Northern Cape in Italy, specifically Torino Fashion Week. So we spent about 10 days there doing business-to-business meetings, showcasing our work. We even did an initiative for ourselves where we went into the city and just did photos with our garments, and meeting with other designers from all over South Africa was so amazing. So I've had the privilege of also being a part of a lot of programs. Just recently I was part of the Walmart Gives Grow Your Business program, where I also was able to land top achiever. So my group's pitch also landed first place. So it's those kinds of things that kind of just nudge you in the right direction and say, I think, but my greatest success is being able to reach clients outside of Kimberley. So I have clients from Grikostad, from Uppington, Mossel Bay, as far as Indonesia recently. Wow. So I think those are the things that make me feel like, okay, we're growing. It's slow, I think people see you and they think things must happen at a rapid pace, or now where's the Mercedes Benz, where's the big house, where's the this, where's the that, but we're growing. And the success was also being able to get into a bigger space like this. You've seen the workshop, you've seen the office space. Compared to where I started, it has been magical to witness. And
your client from Indonesia, how did that come about?
I actually went to school with Toko Mbata. She then got married to a man that she met in that part of the world, and then she said to me, Noni, I'm getting married officially now. The ceremonies are happening. She's is Toko Zulu? Can't remember, but I think Toko. So she was having like her official, a traditional wedding, and she said, I need outfits for myself, I need an outfit for my husband, and an outfit for my son. And we made the garments. Her parents were able to collect it, and it went off to Indonesia. And when it got there, we literally just relied on measurements, and it fit like a glove. All three outfits fit like a glove. So that's been amazing. The clients from Mossel Bay, her aunt was working in Kimberley, and she's like, you have to come. So they put her on a bus to come here. But people travel. Richie, Priska, Bloemfontein, Joanna, they travel to come here, just to come here.
Nice. Now, I was speaking to one of the colleagues that we were interviewing earlier on. They are also into fashion. So wanted to check what are their plans in terms of future plans. Don't you have those ambitions to, let's say, work with this big retail so that your products are also featured there?
I definitely do. I think the direction the brand is going into, it's what I was telling you earlier off cameras, that sometimes our barriers are due to financial, resources. So everything is money. I always say, when you leave your house, you're gonna spend money. Whether you're buying water or coffee or pouring petrol, you're gonna spend money. So the aim has always been in that accessibility of the brand to create more commercial things, and those are things that are happening, and that's why I say, like, sometimes people think like you're just sitting on your hands and you're not spearheading these things in the background, but you have to also focus on the things that are generating money to be able to fund projects. So I do have a great interest in featuring my clothes in certain stores, you know, the YDEs, the Mall of Africas, the Africa Rises, and, you know, so I actually have a trade show coming up in August, where I hope that that will be the stepping stone to us putting together garments that will catch people's interest, and then we never know.
Please invite us.
I will. It's in Gallagher. Let's go. Let's go.
Additional to that, in terms of your access to markets, have you overcome that barrier, or you're still in the process of fighting that? And for someone who is watching now, let's say they are also into fashion, they also want to be featured in this big retail. What are some of the steps that they can take? I'm not sure if you know of any.
You know, I think that's where research also comes into play. I had a young man who came to see me yesterday, and he was asking if we offer cut, make, and trim services. And for those that don't know, that's basically like factories or companies that exist to bring your idea to life. So they will make, you will come and say, oh, I want to create a bootleg or barrel leg pants. Then they will ask you, okay, you draw the sketch, and then measurement specifications, they will make a sample, and then they make you. But that, all of that is money, because the machinists have to get paid, the pattern maker has to get paid. So that's just my point, to say that the barrier is oftentimes just the financial resources. It's not that people don't know where to go or how to, you know, enter into these spaces. So that's why we're trying to make all of this stuff now by ourselves, because we don't have the means now to rely on CMTs and big factories. So we start small with like a capsule range, and a capsule range is just like a small introductory range, and then based on the demand, then we'll see. Then I think once the demand builds, then we are able to bring in other machinists to come and help, other cutters to come and help. So I'm very, how can I say, process oriented in that way, that if we build the demand, then we are able to then afford all these other things.
Now, if someone is watching this episode and they want to make use of your services, how can they contact you? Where are you found? And
so our building is in George Street, 72 George Street, Alberton South. We share a building with other companies. So if you know Magic Lab and you know RRK, you know where to find us. We're right across from the master's office. We are also on TikTok at House of Rude. We are on Instagram at House of Rude Style. And then our number is 066-285-3173. And then you can contact us via call or WhatsApp preferably.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Lastly, any words of advice for anyone who starts to start a fashion business? What would be your words of advice to those individuals?
My accountant always says, like, anything you don't write down, like, you need to write down stuff. If you don't have a plan, you are definitely going to fail. And that can be a plan for anything: your money, your time. You know, you need to be able to adequately allocate things. And as an entrepreneur, I'm learning also that, you know, collaboration is very important. The reason why I'm here today is being able to share my knowledge, because if I die, House of Rude will die with me. But that's not the case now. I have machinists that know how to make a corset in an hour. I have my people that are doing the hand sewing that I'm now teaching to cut, you know, because oftentimes if there's no dress yet, they can't do the beading. But now they're sitting idly. So I thought, teach them something else, teach them another skill. So I think just have the courage to start and understand that, you know, your business won't thrive simply off of money. If you aren't the type of leader that is able to manage your time, manage your finances, manage, you know, people, because I people make me laugh when they say they want to work somewhere where they don't have to work with people. That's an unrealistic expectation to have, especially in fashion. You are gonna work with people. So this is readying me for now me going into a more commercialized, where people are buying not people coming and saying, Noni, please make me this. So I'm interested in that journey as well. So yeah, I have the courage to start and stick to the plan.
So if there are big brands watching, they should get in contact
with me.
Before we let you go, Noni, in terms of staff, how many staff members do you have?
I have about 5. Just
Okay.
about 5, and then sometimes I have temporaries. Just recently, we got an intern from CUT, which is the university in the Central University of Technology in Bloemfontein. So she just started, and she's here on a 6-week project. So that's exciting to have that, and we have a marketing intern starting on Monday. So it's interesting, man, the way that the business is kind of growing and flourishing, and just having all these systems in place. So about 5 to 6 people that we employ.
That's the camera. Please shout out your details again.
So if you guys are looking for House of Rude, we are at 72 George Street, Albertonshof. We are right across from Gearbox and Diff. We share a building with other businesses, namely Magic Lab and RRK. You can also find us on TikTok at House of Rude. You can find us on Instagram at House of Rude Style. And our number is 066 285 3173. 066 285 3173. You can call or preferably WhatsApp us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sis Noni.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure being here.
If you want to be featured on GluedTV, please send us an email on info@gluedtv.co.za. info@gluedtv.co.za. If you want to check us out on TikTok, we are GluedTV SA. WhatsApp 072 098 0724, or you can check us on YouTube, GluedTV SA. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.